How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Serene Madness, and welcome to part 2 of my first knife series. These were the very first knives I owned, or still have. These are pretty much the ones that have gotten me into knife collecting. One note is last week I kind of phoned everything in the past few videos because last week I was under the weather and had laryngitis, so I couldn't talk. And yeah, the flu season hit around the past couple of weeks around here, and everybody's been sick, so I'm just getting over it. And yeah, so it was awful. But I'd like to talk to you today about my very first knife ever. This is my first knife, and like I said in part 1. If you want to watch part 1, you will be able to click on that video at the end of this video. Like I said in last week's video, there were a couple knives amongst the missing, and I had a really good day yesterday, and I started pulling all my knives out of the various places and doing a major overhaul of my knife collection, and I was able to find the few knives that were amongst the missing, and one of them was my very first knife ever, and I found it, which was really cool, and a few other knives that are going to be in this series, and I found those as well. So let's just get right into it. First knife I ever owned, and here's a little bit of backstory. 1970, roughly 1975. I was in 6-7 years old, in that area, in that range. My brother Tom, who's a year and a half older than me, had joined Cub Scouts, and my mom, being the wonderful, awesome woman that she is, or was, because she's no longer with me, she always tried to get me included in as much stuff as she could, because she didn't want me to feel left out, being a person with a disability. Back then I could walk on crutches, but I can't walk anymore. So she was able to get me involved in Cub Scouts, and my brother was already in it. He was in it for about a year longer than me, before me. And she's like, well, why can't you do Cub Scouts? You're just as, you can do it too. So she was able to get me in, and my dad brought us, and it was Troop 635, and it was in my hometown, and we got to do all kinds of cool stuff. And the only things I wasn't able to go on was like overnight trips and stuff, but I was able to participate in all the activities, like the badge stuff, which was really cool. So I remember when I was approved to get into when I was approved for Cub Scouts, I had to go get my gear, my Cub Scout gear, and some of you probably know where this is going. My mother, at the time, the place to get Cub Scout gear was good old Sears. So we went down to our local Sears, and Sears at that time, I don't know if they still have it or not, but they had an entire just section dedicated to Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts gear. That's where you got your stuff. And you get your neckerchief and your slide and your uniform and your belt, and then you get various pieces of gear. You get a canteen, a flashlight, and one of these. Here it is. The very first knife I ever owned was me Cub Scout pocket knife. This was standard issue for all Cub Scouts. It's like the Swiss Army knife for Cub Scouts. And it's just basic pocket tool. It had a big knife. And it had a small knife, I think. Well, let's see. It had a hole poker and an awl, and it had bottle opener and a can opener on it, which I can't get open because it's kind of stuck. Yep. And this one, a bunch of famous, let me see if I can find the maker on this one. Oh yeah, it is. At the time, a bunch of old school knife companies had the rights to make Cub Scout gear. Here's the knife, actually. And where is it? There's the emblem right there. This knife was actually produced, which I think is really cool, because it actually increases the value of it. It's Camelus. They produced this one. And back then, that's who had the contract to produce Cub Scout knives. Nowadays, your Cub Scout knives are crap. They're just general pocket knives, and there's nothing like special about them. I think they still issue this. I think you can still get this, but it's just it's different now. It's like the plasticky looking handles, and they're just not as classic as that. So it even has an old school lanyard thingy on it, a hook. You can hook it onto your belt, and you hooked it on with like a hook, like a little like pushy thing that you had, and you hooked it onto your belt, like a carabiner kind of thing. And it actually is still got an edge on it. And this has been in my collection from day one, from like 1974, 1975. I was roughly 6 or 7, somewhere in there. I think around 6 years old was when I was old enough to actually be responsible. All my parents thought I was responsible enough to start carrying a pocket knife, because all kids had these. All the boys in my neighborhood either had one of these or they had the equivalent, which was the Camp Champ, which was basically the same knife, but it had a dog bone looking emblem right here, and it said Camp Champ on it, and it was for camping. But this is what they carried. This in the early 70s. This is what all the boys carried these, and all the boys had them in my neighborhood, all of them. And so we used to go out behind my house growing up, and my house was cool because we had woods, so we built forts back there, and we did manly jaunting things when I used to be able to do that sort of thing, and it was cool. So there it is, very first knife, and I'm so friggin' glad I still have this, and I found it, and yeah, it'll remain with me forever. Someday my son will get this, and it's pretty cool, family heirloom kind of thing. So still have that. So that's the very first knife I ever owned. What was the very first knife that you had that you can think of? I'd like to hear those in the comments below. I thank you for all the new subs, and please comment below. I want to hear your comments. Please hit that like button. That helps me out tremendously, and show me some love. And if you're so inclined, please subscribe. I can use the subscribers. Try to hit that elusive 1,000. Find your Serene in a mad world. I'm out.
Don't let me raise up and come over there and put my hands on you.